Haribo. Yo! Welcome to the first episode of our podcast. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know, we need some music.
Podcast.
Podcast. Hashtag
Yeah,
Pondcast. Hashtag
someone,
weekly.
someone. Okay, so should we need to introduce everyone?
Yes.
Or was that you making music?
No, I don't really know
Sweet.
what that was. I was trying to just go for something, but it didn't work out.
Okay.
Okay, so there is three people in this podcast. There is myself, Ule, or Ole, or Ole, whatever you prefer.
Hashtag.
Whatever you
Yes.
prefer.
And
Flames.
me, Abdullah, or Abe, or Gabe, or the one and only Abinio.
The Abester.
Abester.
No. Abester.
Abetronic.
No, Abester is not her name.
Aren't you an Abe Star Steven, though?
Oh, that's the one you have an issue
Well,
with.
that is true. You can call me
A-Star.
A-Star. I'll accept A-Star.
Okay, A star. And that leaves me definitely best to last. My name's Ryan. So anyway, yeah, my name's Ryan. And just some
Vegas.
background. We all know each other from university. We all ran into each other at university. I don't think we need to mention the name of the university, I suppose. But anyway, and yeah, this is the first episode of Pondercast. So,
Well, yeah,
amongst other things,
we're
what are we
gonna-
gonna be?
we're gonna
What are we gonna be
ponder.
pondering?
So,
Yeah.
today's topic, what we're
Wait,
gonna be
wait,
pondering
wait.
on.
Before
First
we
off,
go to the pondering, do we have a slogan?
Yes, it's Ponder.
Mm.
Pondercast.
No. I thought
No,
it should
yeah.
be like let's ponder, or no, or like I like to ponder cast. wait! I even thought of another one, like
Where? What?
pondering
Like
time.
in a
You know, like how it's
pondering
pondering
time.
time.
Oh, okay. I get it.
Just because I love Fantastic Four movie.
Oh, fair enough. No,
No, I'm joking.
No, I think I was just about to say to anyone listening, to anyone who actually listens to this,
Shout out.
if you have, shout out to you
You're the
because
real
you're a
MVP.
savage.
Because you
Yeah,
do
you're the,
you.
you the re- yeah,
You're the
you're
real
the you.
MVP. So if you do listen to it,
If you're listening
you gonna
and
go.
you have a suggestion for the name, please comment and subscribe.
Yes, indeed.
um,
So what's our
No, but
topic for this our first ever episode?
okay, I think we
What?
have agreed upon number one, Brexit, which for anyone who doesn't know what that horrible smashed together phrase is, it just means Britain's exit from the EU, the European Union. And because there is a vote, there's a referendum going on in the whole of Britain, or should I say the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland on, I believe, the 23rd or 24th of June.
The United Kingdom of
and-
Great Britain, is that a thing?
That is the
Yeah.
formal name.
Oh, is it?
It's the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland.
Isn't it Her Majesty
That-
Great Britain?
It's the Queen's Britain.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Queen if she's listening. You sick.
Nah,
You
fuck that
sick.
bitch.
No. If she's
She's gonna live
listening,
forever, mate.
she's gonna listen to this, man. What are you saying? What are you saying? Fuck that bitch.
Jesus.
You can't be swearing our listeners, man. We love everyone,
Okay.
anyone.
Well, we don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I know, but
this is we can
but
do
like,
it.
you know what? We should leave the monarchy to another day.
True.
That's future topic. Shout out to anyone who's listening. If you want to hear us talk about the Queen, please like, subscribe, and comment on this video.
And all that good stuff.
Good
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
So, Abe, Where are
What's up?
you residing at the moment?
I'm currently in a country that I don't think many people know, called Oman. It's an awesome country. You should really come and visit.
Yeah, so good they
we
named
have,
it.
we have, we have a lot
Oh
of
man.
Oh man, this
Oh
place
man.
is great.
Where am I?
Everyone came here and was just like, "Oh man, man."
Yeah,
Oh,
oh
you
man,
know.
not this place again.
Or it
You
could be
don't know
taken
about
as a
Oman.
positive, or you can take it as a positive way. Oh man, this place is awesome.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
suppose
man.
that's
What other way you gonna take it, man? What other
Yeah.
way you actually gonna take it?
Whatever you
Yeah.
Every other way is just like it's just talks, man. The real story is in Oman. That's where the real action's happening.
Yeah, true.
I don't know about that. I mean, the main thing that's happening at the moment is this referendum in the UK.
Oh, segue.
That was ever so graceful, Uli.
Yeah, man. Always, always. That's how I slide up in your DM. Hello.
uh, so wait, so basically, I think what we're trying to say is they have someone who's me. I've resided in the UK for my entire life, and then well, the other two can tell you where they're from. Where you from? Well, yeah,
Oman,
Oman.
great country.
Yep. So you're, but how
Number
come
one
you?
country in
How
the
come?
world.
How come you speak the English so well?
Yeah, like, don't you
I
just
speak
speak
the
Arab
English the
language
best of
and
this.
like lived in sand all the time and ride camels?
You speak
I went
better
to-
English than Uli.
That's because English can't speak. He just can't.
No, I can't really speak English. I can't speak any
You can't
language.
speak anything.
just
you're,
say fake sounds.
you're a man.
You
So
should
hopefully
take
man
that
is very
sign,
people
good in
understand
Uli.
me.
Well, I went to a bilingual school, so from birth I was raised to speak both Arabic and English, and
Wow.
for the most part, English. I'm mostly using English like most of the days that I go through. So I think right now I would say I have a more powerful command of the English language than
Well, but like
my
even
Arabic native.
even growing
tongue.
up, what would you say the percentage split was on a daily basis? So say like from primary
Let's see.
school, secondary. I don't know if you use those terms, but like when you were like 10 years old, how much English were you
Yeah,
speaking?
about maybe 60-40, so 60 English, 40 Arabic.
Wow.
But now it's like 75 English, 25%
Wow.
Arabic.
But wouldn't you mix up the two languages and say a few Arab phrases while speaking English?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I get that as well. I mean, I speak very limited Spanish, but sometimes even when I'm speaking with my Spanish friends, they'll routinely just use certain English words because it's just the best way they know of saying
Yeah.
or
Common
communicating
way.
some kind
Yeah.
of meaning towards me. Yeah.
Like whether it's their Nikes or Reeboks.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to post a link for the video in case anyone
Oh, so
doesn't get
explain
that
that
reference.
joke.
Nah, you don't explain it. I think they just need to watch it.
Yeah. So there's a link down below. Give that a listen.
Oh wait, I just got that joke.
Oh,
Also
man.
Nike.
Don't ruin it. Let them
Also
listen. Let them
Nike.
listen. Don't ruin it for them. So guys, watch the link below. It's quite funny. It's quite that should be our theme song. Like, this is the rhythm of the night.
You're ruining it now.
Oh yeah.
I like your version best, Ule.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, if everything fails, I
Yeah,
think
we
I
should.
might just end up becoming a singer.
Yeah.
Just like Action Bronson or something like that, you know.
Yeah.
Fuck
Fair
shit.
enough.
Or
Yeah,
or
you do that.
I can't be a chef because my leg hurts, so I'm just gonna spit outdoors and become famous.
I'm just gonna be a world famous rapper.
Maybe, Ule.
Yeah.
What would it
Have
be?
you guys watched his shows, by the way?
Wait, what?
Have you guys checked out Action Bronson?
There's a fan.
Yeah, yeah. Anyways, going back to introducing ourselves. So, um, Vegas has said,
Yeah, actually, on no, I was gonna say on that topic of introducing ourselves, I was just looking at all the different little profile pics we have up, and why have you felt the need to put some fiery clouds? And and
it's
the
not
way you're trying
necessarily
to
fire. It's just like, when you're gazing into the sunlight, there's a nice view. I mean, like, if they are gonna look, they're gonna see
yeah,
some nice views, innit? Innit, fam?
yeah, but like I feel like you're trying to lord over us, not only with your little with trying to keep
Yeah, but
the pod.
you got people playing ping pong. I don't know how that helps.
No,
Ule, you
but
know what that
that's
makes me
I was
feel when I see those
What?
clouds?
What do
You
you
know what
see?
it makes me feel when I see your profile picture?
What?
oh man.
No, it makes me ponder.
There you
Oh,
go.
Ah!
oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have unlocked the secret. We've cracked the code.
Mm-hmm.
We've
My
got the
Ma-
photo
key.
for you
major
to
key alert.
ponder.
Major key alert. Yeah, oh no, I do like that. I do like that. It made me ponder
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
because you were inquisitive about it, made me ponder. I tricked myself, like, geez.
Well, you just turned that you just turned that statement into like the most gayest statement ever. Made me ponder.
Hey, hey, there's nothing wrong with being gay, though.
Oh yeah, no, there's a clear yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Just
not
to
using it as a
reiterate,
derogative terms to
yeah,
Okay.
homosexuals. I'm using it as a
Shout out
phrase
to
to say that what you said.
shout out to any homosexuals out there. Leave a comment. I'll
and your number for Ule. Anyway, um, yeah, all right, let's
Hashtag
get
love is
back
love.
to it. So, talking about the topics, so we want to do Brexit, and then we also there was an interesting article that Ule found. Maybe you could tell us where you found it, how you happened upon it. Um,
Sure,
yeah.
sure. So in terms of Brexit, so on the 23rd of June, there is a vote whether the UK, Her Majesty's Great Britain of the UK,
Her
should
Madge.
her that can go so wrong so quickly, but to stay in the EU or to leave the EU, and this has caused a lot of discussion and a lot of, I wouldn't say argument, but it's a topic that is worth mentioning.
The streets are hot with this. Yeah, it's just
People
people in the
people
streets.
talking about
Yeah.
this.
They're murmuring what's going to
They're
happen.
dropping. Yeah, there's discussions, there's debating. It's actually great to see the whole. I
People
know
speak.
it's a big referendum, but there's people coming together from all backgrounds to discuss this issue and how it will affect them, and yeah, I mean it's quite. It's not every day, or it's not very often that you could say a whole nation is all thinking about one sole topic, especially one that's so well, it can affect, well, whether we leave or stay. It's gonna change
It's
history.
going to
Yeah.
affect everyone in a shape or form. I mean, people who are already in the EU, the countries that are in the EU, it will affect them.
Hmm.
To the individuals that are living in, Yorkshire, for example, it's going to affect people. There are regulations that are put
Yeah.
in place in the EU that is EU friendly. So if the UK were to leave, these they wouldn't necessarily be in the same. We'd have to create new ones, and when I say we, I mean the
Yeah.
UK, because I'm
Hmm.
saying we because I am in the UK. But if I was somewhere else, I would say the UK.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Actually, we didn't get your background, Ule.
Yeah.
Oh, oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Oh,
Who are you?
who am I? Well,
Excuse me. Who are
what?
you?
I would tell you. Business is going very well.
Business is booming. It's booming.
Okay, so I was it's a journey. It's a journey. I can't just say what.
How
You're
did your
dead?
mama
She passed away.
Yeah, that's why he's in the clouds.
Pondering, forever pondering.
It all makes sense now.
Yeah. This is,
I have ascended from heaven and I came down to this earth.
Yeah,
No.
so you mean descended. See, I told you, Abe, you speak better English than this guy.
3 years.
Just ask him to say YouTube.
No, man, I gotta say it with not on the spot because then it will sound authentic.
Okay.
I mean, we do have a video earlier on, but that was a test video and it really emphasized it. So maybe I can cut that clip and put it somewhere for you guys to have it as a ringtone or like a message or something. Because I'm sure there will be one person in this world that would do that. And if it is, I love you. I love you.
Yeah. Shout outs.
Shout out to that person to have that ringtone.
Yeah.
But I ain't gonna mention the word just now.
Okay. Fair enough.
So yes, where I'm from. Okay, am basically half Norwegian, half Lebanese. I was born in Norway, and then we kind of moved from Norway when I was about 2-3 years old to Dubai, in the United Arab Emirates in the Middle East. I was there till about 12 years old. Then I moved to Lebanon in Beirut. Shout out to people in Dubai. Shout out to people in Beirut listening. We love you. We love you.
We're big in Beirut, in case you didn't know.
Oh, too big.
We're booming. Booming.
So I went to school in Beirut as well as Dubai, but I graduated school in Beirut.
We don't want your autobiography, mate. We just wanted to know where you were from. Bloody hell.
I was just about to say, this is like a short backstory, not like the whole.
Yeah, fuck Brexit. I'm just gonna talk about myself. Nah.
You actually would love that.
I knew
this podcast just became about talking about yourself.
To bring it to full circle. To bring it to full circle.
He had a god complex. It was very evident.
Yeah, but I'm saying descending instead of ascending, so I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, so I graduated school in Lebanon, went to university in the UK, and now I work in London. So when people
shout out to London,
London Gringos, whoever you are,
London Gringos, LGs,
you know who you are.
From Wood Green to Bethnal Green, holding it down.
E1 to N22 now.
N22s now.
Anyways, so when people ask me where I'm from, I can't really say, oh, I'm from X, because I look very, very Scandinavian. I look very Norwegian. However, I haven't necessarily lived that much in Norway to kind of get that Norwegian pride almost. I've lived in the Middle East for most of my life. So, I feel more Lebanese than Norwegian out of my two nationalities. So whenever someone asks me, where are you from? I can't just say I'm fully Lebanese because I don't look like a Lebanese. So then people be like, what? No, I do not.
Why are you lying for?
Exactly. So I got to go with half-half. One doesn't necessarily compensate for the others, but sometimes it does. But, that's how it is. So that's a little background about me.
Yeah, a little background. Yeah,
okay. So we've got a British person in London. We got an EU national who would identify more with the Middle East, who's working in London.
I did a quick research. Norway is not part of the EU.
That is correct. They're part of the EEA.
Exactamundo.
Oh wow! Is that the European Economic Agreement?
Yes, sir.
That is correct.
And it does not use the
I think that's what the EU started out as, though. Oh yeah, but that's
but it is a part of Schengen, though, which is.
Yeah, I mean, like, I can work in the UK without any visas, anything like that. So that's because of the EEA. Okay. And Norway, they didn't really, when the EU started coming about, they voted against it because there was more negative effects than positive effects if they were to go into the EU because of the trade regulations, I believe it was. We'd be kind of giving almost all our resources and not getting good enough resources back. So we'd be pushing more than pulling, and that ain't good. That creates a imbalance. So
Okay.
so
But I don't know. I mean, there's plenty of countries that perform a role with it. Like, I mean, if you look at China, that's almost considered just like a factory for the rest of the world in terms of manufacturing and production of just about everything. And I mean, but I mean, then again, they're not at the leisure to. I suppose they're not at the leisure of being able to decide what their role is. It's just been thrust upon them, because labor can be so cheap over there, which is
yeah,
why, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
the
yeah.
labor laws are very loose.
Yeah, they're not allowed like trade unions. There's no like, I mean, people. I mean, you know that story that I think caught real. Well, I don't know. It just touched a lot of people. Was when in the iPod factories they had to install nets so that
Yeah, in
people. So,
Foxconn.
yeah, so the jocks, the workers were their jobs were so monotonous and so boring slash depressing that they were just jumping off the roofs they'd rather commit suicide than go to work. Um,
Yeah, and
and,
their pay
and
was
yeah,
like
that
ridiculously low.
yeah. And then have you seen this stuff where you see these like notes that are supposedly hidden in like toys and stuff, and they're just like outcries for people to come and help, and like
Oh,
I don't know, I've seen it on the internet. It's crazy. Like they show up every now and
I've
again.
heard
Like
similar things, but I haven't seen, like, but
yeah,
I believe that, like, it's crazy. It's crazy hard that there was like a BBC documentary where they went into these factories and they do it because like they need the money and they're so expendable that they just do what the companies tell them to do because it's so relaxed
yeah,
over there that they get to push this upon them and everyone turns a blind eye.
yeah,
yeah. It's
yeah.
yeah.
And
I
but
mean,
like because the labor laws are so loose, the result is that China has become a powerhouse, or you could say a manufacturing house of the world, which gives them loads of power in a way, the Chinese government, to
Yeah, they
like
get a seat on the big boys table.
exactly because we're supplying you with so much stuff that we are on this table, you know. But like in terms of the UK being a let's say call it a big power, um, I mean, if they go out of the EU, do you think that they could become as big on their own in terms of world power than just the EU, than being with the
so
EU?
do you
Sorry.
mean? So do you mean? All right. So why don't we break it down and
Sure.
we'll do the effects of on certain topics. So we could say like what will be the financial effects of leaving or staying in the EU, and then we can do what can you know what I mean? This
Mm-hmm.
way that we're not just kind of going blind. So you're asking about the financial benefits or disadvantages of leaving the EU, correct?
I'm pretty much asking everything. I'm just drawing a parallelism with China and how
Okay.
China does their business, because like there wouldn't be an Asian Union anytime soon, I believe, or maybe there is. If there is, please let me know. I'm always open to know more information, but to my extent of knowledge, I don't think so. So, and that is mainly because China is quite big, and all the other countries surrounding it aren't. But then again, you do have Japan, and you do have North Korea and South Korea. So, there isn't necessarily a union, a sense of unity in between those countries, especially between North and South Korea.
Yeah,
However,
but I think but I
sorry.
think isn't but I think it's more it's not so much to do with quite what the EU initially started as as like you were saying, the European Economical Agreement. So it's done for like economical reasons. I think people, it's not we're not part of the EU because we love Europe, mainland Europe. I mean,
Like,
I don't think most people, I don't think the common man has, yeah, like a genuine problem with anyone from another country. Like, I don't think there's quite high levels of xenophobia here, but it's, I don't think that's a major reason why not to be in like an economical agreement, especially at a state level, because I mean, you don't, yeah, it's just, I don't think
Yeah.
it's not to do so
Okay.
much of it. Of course, if you North Korea and South Korea, then I mean, are they at war? Are they technically at war? Are they warring? I mean, it's
Cold
very,
War? I don't know. Cold Warring.
well, they solved the war by like splitting apart and just putting guards at the border.
yeah, it's a highly
Yo,
militarized
actually,
border.
quick thing about the North Korea and South Korea. I was like watching like a Vice documentary about it, and there was the defense, not the defense minister, one of the people in the American government, someone high up, was saying how this situation of North Korea and South Korea is purely just a political view. Like, there's no difference between language, between people, between certain like religious or anything of those kinds. It's just purely political. We want this, we want that.
Yeah.
And that's like, I don't think there's any example of that. There's no example where the only reason why people split up as a nation is just because politics, like just
Yeah. I
pure
mean,
politics.
the reason the European Union was made because after the World War II, European integration was seen kind of as a antidote to the extreme nationalism which devastated the continent during the two world wars. So, you know, when you had in Germany, you had the Hitler coming to power, and you had all the other nations, you know, getting really nationalistic about themselves, and then this is what kind of, in a very very simplistic way, caused what happened, the two world wars.
Yeah.
And I think they were like, no, let's not fight. Let's come together. Let's talk about this.
Come together.
Exactly. Someone's just, you know, decided to sing that like Abe did just now. So Abe Star.
Abe Star.
Yeah.
And so because of that, I mean, the European Union was formed, and this kind of brought everyone in a way together, establishing a commonality in between the countries so that you can trade together, you can move freely together, and so on.
Yeah, so like we've been talking about recently, it brought everyone around the same table. It, you know, like, it was more an idea of working together. And yeah, also I think it's just because, well, yeah, after America dropped the atomic bomb, the game changed. It was now the next time that two countries which have nuclear capabilities, it's game over. Like, nuclear holocaust is a very real possibility these days. And
Yeah, we
yeah,
could
I
end the
mean,
world as we know it.
yeah, I think, didn't they say you could blow up the world? Like, there's enough nuclear
Yep.
capability to blow up the world
Oh
like
yeah,
20 plus times, and
yeah.
it's
And
like,
Jesus
Let's
Christ, and
send man back to the Stone Age, yeah.
yeah, and the radiation that is
oh
caused
yeah,
by the nuclear. Jesus Christ, like you'd
Yeah,
really
yeah
mess up
there's
life on Earth. You know, there'd be
yeah.
high radiation levels everywhere you go, so there wouldn't be a
yeah,
square inch of air or land that wouldn't be affected by radiation.
yeah,
So,
There's
like, you know
places
how
in
you see,
Hiroshima and Nagasaki. You can't go
yeah,
there.
and Chernobyl as well.
Yep.
You know, these are just examples of what could happen. You know, we spent so much research into creating weapons of mass destruction, which kind of realized that, whoa, let's take a step back here and realize what we've just done.
Yeah, it's only after horrible events happen that we like wake up from like, oh, what the heck are we doing?
Exactly. Like once, when you're a
Which is
kid,
horrible.
your mom tells you don't touch the stove, it's hot. You're not going to learn your lesson by just listening. You're going to touch the stove. And
Well, if you're dumb, yeah.
No, I don't think necessarily if you're dumb. I think learning through experience and failure is
Oh
one of
yeah,
the best ways of learning.
yeah. I should reemphasize. If you didn't listen to your parents, then yeah.
Uh, no, fair enough. But
yeah, yeah. So sorry to cut you off, Vegas, but just
no, it's
to
fine.
come back full circle. So once we realize that we've come to this kind of almost we can come to a fate of death by our own hands, by our own skills. We kind of realize, okay, let's not do this. Let's just. And then I think kind of this is a result. The European Union is a result. Not necessarily just the European Union, but like several other trade agreements. And since World War II, essentially, there hasn't been as much war as there used to be. Take 100 years ago, 200 years ago. There's still war, and there is still death, and there's still murder in the world. However, it's not as much as before.
No, I think I'd argue that it's just there is less war between countries like in the European Union and more. I mean, to be honest, it's more between that. I mean, there's less war now between white people than there is yeah, like because in World War II it was the Germans and they were aligned with the Italians and they were fighting the French and the English and and nowadays that kind of war is almost inconceivable. And yeah, you could say because of stuff like the European Union, but also I mean, what do you guys take on that? Because
Uh,
I think there's still
Yeah.
plenty of war, and if anything, there's a lot. I mean, war. What do you mean by war? War is war when there's two armies fighting each other. Was the Iraq War actually a war? Who are they fighting? They were. Do you know what I mean? Is
yeah, I
that
get you. Just
is
a
that
storming through.
is that an act of aggression, or
Mm.
is it? Do you know what I mean? Or was it a military operation? I mean, war makes it sound like there's actually two
Fighting
two.
sides.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
in
like
reality, one dominating another is not really war. It's just, I don't know, like destruction, destroying another nation. I don't
true.
know.
Yeah.
True.
Maybe.
So maybe the term war has been morphed
But I guess it's
as
still
life.
war. I guess. I mean, you're picking up arms against another nation, and I mean, you're
Yeah,
still
but
fighting someone in the
were
nation.
they if you're I mean was if you're fighting an insurgent group in a country
Yeah.
like the supposed Iraq wars was to fight I mean like take now the war on extreme Islam and stuff like that. How is that really a war? I mean, you're not fighting another state. I
There's
mean, they can
also
proclaim to be a state,
there's also the
Mm.
but
war on
like the war on
drugs.
drugs,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, who are they fighting? You're not fighting drugs, like, and so anyway,
You're fighting
um,
ideology, I guess.
Yeah, like
yeah,
are
but you can never
are,
win.
are,
Like
are we fighting
that's like
cancer? We're trying to battle, we're trying to find the cure for cancer. So do we have a war on
yeah,
cancer? Do we have a war on AIDS? Um, can
yeah.
that be seen as something else? I mean, the term war can be kind of vague in a way, just like
Yeah.
fighting,
I
just like
guess.
discussing.
I guess the official term for war is a state of armed conflict between different nations or different groups within a nation or a state. I'm just reading off Google.
Yeah, no, cool.
Shout out to
Um,
Google.
Shout out to the most revolutionized company in recent history,
yeah,
or in history.
Yeah.
Uncle Goo.
So I mean, like going back to the referendum then. With us trying to dissect a little bit our own takes on the EU referendum, we kind of went really broad, but to kind of go back and narrow it down. Um, So would you think that going if the Her Majesty's Great Britain of the UK, or however you want to call it, would leave the EU, would that kind of create a sense of nationalism within the country and then create a more extreme nationalism, and that will ripple throughout Europe, and then other nations will kind of go like, well, if they're doing it, if this sinking ship is, sinking, or I'm gonna jump boat, or am I gonna fix it?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
No, yeah, I think you raised loads of good points there. As in terms of like, will it lead to kind of nationalism and right-wing nationalism in Britain if we leave? I think that would be most people who would vote to leave would inadvertently be voting for right-wing nationalism. I mean, a lot of the campaign for the people who want to leave is to do we're basically, I mean, I am of the opinion is following xenophobic lines. I mean, a lot of it can be dressed up as some kind of economical argument in terms of how much money we save or expend on paying the EU and all this. But I mean, people they're quick to forget that we are part of the EU. We benefit from the EU. We can't. It's just like you can't. It's like not pay. It's like not paying taxes, but then moaning when the NHS isn't there for you. It's like you have to pay into something, and all over Europe we have come together and said we are going to work together in these regards.
Yeah. But then again, leaving the EU could not necessarily end up in such an extreme version. I mean, Britain could be like, oh, we're doing our own thing. However, we do have, economic trade agreements, and things set up to kind of make sure that not big effects will take because of this referendum. But that's up to the politicians and who the politicians are at that point when the decision gets made. So we'll see. But I mean, so if we do stay in the EU, though, so what is that side? Abe, as a outsider who hasn't really been involved in the conversation, because you're in Oman and not necessarily in Her Majesty's Great Britain.
Yeah, I really haven't been like.
What's your opinion?
Well, so from my understanding is the major issue for the Brexit for it to happen is immigration. They just don't. That's like what the main point is, like the main reason, the immigration crisis.
It's a big reason being touted, yeah.
So why do we have a referendum in the first place?
And I believe the referendum came up because David Cameron wanted to use it so he could get better deals from the EU, which he did, which is why now he's campaigning so much for Brexit not to happen, because he got what he wanted. Even though it's not everything, apparently there was some holes in the deal that he made. For instance, I think migrants can still get pay or something after 4 years. Actually, I'm not going to talk about it. I don't know exactly what the deal was. But essentially, he got what he wanted from the EU, so now he's campaigning for people to stay within the EU. But people want to leave because of the migrant crisis, which people now see in Europe, all of these things that are happening. They do not want it to spill over into the EU, and they think will be, into UK, and they think will be better if they separate. But in my opinion, a country who retains its autonomy completely has more say in the country's direction that it wants to take. So I can see benefits of leaving the European Union, because even though the UK is part of the European Union and has its say in it, it's subjected to whatever it comes up and says. So whatever law, whatever thing that it passes, whether the UK liked it or didn't like it, they'll have to follow it regardless.
Yeah. Sorry to cut you off, but why the referendum is being held? According to the BBC, Prime Minister David Cameron, he promised to hold one if he won the 2015 general election. in response to growing calls from his own Conservative MPs and the UK Independent Party UKIP. And so that's why. So he promised, and the UKIP argued that Britain had not had a say since 1975 when it voted to stay in the EU in a referendum, and the EU has changed a lot since then.
Yeah. Same with,
So-
was it the same with the Scottish independence thing? Like he promised that to happen. Was that like in the same like?
Oh, I
unrelated?
don't know about that.
It's just an unrelated. Just wanted to know because I know he promised that as well, and that's why it happened, kind of. I think.
I don't know.
But honestly, I think like working together is in my opinion better than just leaving and trying to work for yourself because it can benefit the UK. There are actually good reasons, and for some reason a year ago people weren't really supporting this whole thing, but now people seem very much. It's become a divisive issue on whether to leave or to stay. And now that we've come to this point, there are arguments that are benefit. I mean, that are good for both sides, even though they are extreme sides, like the xenophobic issue that Ryan mentioned. That is very true. There are people along those lines, Britain for British, or those sayings. But on the other side, staying and everything will help because at the end of the day, if the UK is part of the European Union, they can change things from the inside. They can have their own views and put on, like in the same way that Germany and France are able to push the European Union in the direction they want to put it in.
Of course.
Yeah.
So I mean, the viewers that are listening in right now, what do you think? Leave a comment below. Let us know.
I think they should stay.
Ryan, what's your verdict? Ooh.
Cleaning dishes. That's his verdict.
He didn't show up. He didn't vote.
That was him. That was him wiping the slate clean. That's what he was doing. No, but I just thought it'd be worth mentioning that just in regard to Brexit and like, I mean, this idea of complete autonomy if we leave the EU. I mean, okay. Well, I was going to say something about we'll maybe go into another time, but it was just more to do with who do you feel actually has power in the country, and I mean, where does the power currently lie? Does it EU bureaucrats and that, or technocrats and this thing? But like, I mean, so if it came back to us.
Yeah, but it's the people that are voting. It's not necessarily the political
Do the
parties.
people know what they're voting for? Is the question. Like, do they know what's going to happen afterwards?
That's a good
Well,
point.
no one knows with certainty what will happen in terms of.
Yeah, I don't think there is no one known outcome. I mean, it's gonna, if it happens, then it's like we take it from there, I guess.
Yeah.
Try to maybe re-establish relationships with certain countries. So
But that's what I mean. How can it's like say to me it's like say you live on a street and there's I don't know however many you have however many neighbors, and you may have had your disagreements in the past, but you've come together recently to make a neighborhood watch, and you've got your own little community, and then one day it's tough on everyone. Everyone's earning less money. People lost their jobs. People there's not much. They're relying on the community to help. Maybe someone who's got a bit more money is giving it to your neighbor because they have none. They have people to feed, and then it comes to you, and you just decide you'd rather just take yourself out of the community, even though you still have to live where you live, right? You can't move house. You have to stay there, but then you have to go the next day and say, okay, we want to let's talk trade like on just individually. I mean, I mean that's not a way to live. I mean, no one lives in that kind of world. I mean, even if you're very what's the word? You're very independent of people. You still have to, like, I mean, there's still, it's still beneficial to have good relationships. I mean, I don't think, how can you just leave the community, the European community? We may leave, if we leave the EU, we still can't leave Europe. Like, we're still part of Europe. Or what's even scarier is the possibility if we leave Europe, we'd almost certainly become much more closely aligned with the US.
That's a good point.
And then
Yeah, that's very
and
true.
then and then and then I mean, and
Be
in
more under
terms
their
of,
influence.
yeah,
And
exactly.
yes,
So
yes.
what makes people think, well, I'm interested to know why people think if we leave the EU that we would gain more autonomy as a country, when the EU is more or less the only kind of world that can really stand up to the US, which is like the superpower. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, there's big stuff going, like when Obama comes to G24 summits and stuff, dealing as a collective as the EU. There's, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's key in international affairs of the highest kind that we stick with our European brothers. I'm not saying this as someone who's, I mean, I hope I live to see the day where the whole world is like is working together and in unison, which I
Preach.
think is achievable. But
One
I
world,
mean,
one
at the
people.
moment, this is the biggest scale we have, and it's outside of the US's influence. Like, the US is not part of the EU, whereas the US is part of NATO.
Hmm.
And so, like, this is something that can run contrary in opposition to the US in certain political forums internationally. So, I mean, from that perspective, I mean, I know how
Yeah,
much
yeah.
flack during the Iraq War, um, something that damaged Tony Blair's credibility a
Yeah.
huge amounts, could be used
Yeah.
as George Bush's lapdog. So, I mean, I mean, English people, they don't want to hear it. No one wants to be told what to do by anyone.
Hmm.
But at least with the EU, we have a say in at least we're at the table, we can talk. With the US, it's a lot more, we'd have to do what we're told, because we don't have a good, like, we don't have a family within the EU anymore to help support us.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it'll just separate the like, oh, instead of less points of contact, it'll be just like, oh, you gotta go through him and then go through her and then so on, so on. But I mean, there is another person that we want to know their opinion about. So what's your take on this?
Take on America's trying
No,
to
no, no, no.
influence.
This isn't directed to you, Abe. You have said your say, and then
Okay.
and Ryan has said his say. But there's also someone else we haven't heard from.
You do realize I can't see you guys, so when you say that thing, you gotta kind of like say something about.
Well,
He was talking to the YouTubes.
Talk back on your screen.
So-
We can hear you.
yeah, all the listeners right now just start speaking. No, but
Yeah, make some noise if you're in the house.
We can hear you guys. Yeah.
All single digits of them. Anyway,
no. So I mean, what does the other person have to say?
pardon?
Well,
The other person.
I think that we should just like leave Brexit, like just like fuck them all in it, like just keep Britain for Britain, innit? Yeah. Was that good? Was that a good one? I tried my British
Yeah,
accent. I
that was pretty good. It's
Yes,
better than
8-star
Ule's.
for
Oh,
me.
Ule, do yours.
My opinion.
Yeah, what's your opinion? Tell us your
I mean,
opinion.
like, obviously there are extreme ways to look at it. Whoa, what's going on here? There are extreme ways to thinking of it. If they are going together, staying in the EU, then maybe. Ooh, ooh. Do we have that fourth person? opinion?
Hi.
We're reaching through the phones right now. We're trying to connect your connections. Hello there, caller one. Would you like to introduce yourself on the line today?
So
Yo,
what's your opinion about the EU?
basically, I think
As a woman,
as a woman, as
As
a
a
woman
woman.
with a tiny woman brain, I think that if we leave, we're pretty much screwed.
Damn.
Damn, you heard it from the
Questions.
lady.
Questions. Why?
So many reasons. Because of security
Mhm.
and funding and the fact that it's going to be hard to go on holiday. And
Well,
also,
yeah, it's true. Like holiday part would be harder. Trading,
but
they'll put like
I mean,
tariffs.
you know, I'm just a woman, so what do I know?
Yeah, everyone
Well,
knows that. We
you
don't need a
heard.
woman's opinion. Everyone knows.
Well, anyways,
guys, I'm sorry. I can only apologize. I don't know what happened. I won't let that happen again.
This is a man's podcast. Only men allowed.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man.
yeah, but to finish it up, I mean,
but-
in my opinion, whether or not no, what I'm trying to say is, if we go in both ways, I think there is a very, very there is a good possibility that both of the extremes won't happen, and it will kind of not really affect us too badly. If Her Majesty's UK of Great Britain leaves the EU,
Yeah.
I think we can still live in harmony with our European brothers, and even if we stay, we can still live in harmony with our European brothers. However, the fight would be much easier to kind of fix the EU as a whole, to make it, because it does have its own problems. But if the UK is on the table to discuss it, then it's much better than not being, and it'll just cause more friction. But in the grand scheme of things, I think we'll all be all right.
Yeah, we'll all be all right. You want to know why?
We'll be all right.
All right. You know why, Ule?
Shout out to Kendrick Lamar if you're listening.
Shout out K Dot.
Yeah,
I would trade K Dot. If K Dot listens to this, I would trade.
Oh, we can have like
Man,
drafts.
what would
Like
I pick for K-Dot?
the US can take like I don't know, David Beckham, and we take K Dot. I don't know. Would you guys take that?
They already got him. They already got Beck. They got Beck.
Yeah, that's what I'm
ages
saying.
ago.
I mean, who do the UK have now? The guy on Top Gear who's on Friends.
What's his name? Didn't Adam Sandler like move?
Joey
UK or something?
Tribbiani.
Yeah, man, we got him.
What's his name?
Matt LeBlanc.
Guy who won Oscar. What's his name? Leonardo. Yeah, didn't he just move to the UK?
Who?
I know he's an Arsenal fan.
I know that there is a Leonardo somewhere in the
I'm gonna do
UK.
a quick one. Shut up.
But which Leonardo you refer?
DiCaprio. Wait.
I don't know, bro.
Da Vinci.
I don't know. So
Vinci.
the viewers listening, who would you guys, to finish it off, who would you trade with the US in the draft season? I'll leave you guys to ponder on that.
What's a win-win? Yeah. What's
I'll
a
leave you guys
win-win?
to ponder on that, and we will see you in the next one. So you guys take care and have a good one, and thank you for listening.
Alright, see you guys. And let's ponder.
Let's ponder together, or by
Let's
Together.
make, yeah, let's
whatever you prefer.
Alright, okay.
whatever you put. Mad Flames.